YouTube community, Clairo fans, random people on the internet, my name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about Charm, the third album by Clairo. I got into Clairo in 2021 when Sling came out, and I've really loved her voice ever since. Just calm, gentle. There's a really nice place for her in the music sphere of just relaxing kind of music that has a lot to say. It's not just like light for the light of it. There's really deep lyrics that go along with it. Usually songs about love loss or introspection or looking forward, kind of finding things within yourself. And I feel like this album continues that, but even more so. I feel like these lyrics are even deeper, even more soul searching, even more reflective. And the group that she's playing with on this album, everybody comes from the Dap Kings, the whole Daptones crew. I mean, not everybody, but it's incredibly tight. It sounds like very soft rock 70s, but now. It's like if Carole King made Tapestry, but now. I absolutely love the production on this album. They recorded it to tape, and you hear it. It's got that rich, full, feeling the room kind of vibe. Nothing about this feels digital, which is wonderful because Clairo's voice and then these guys playing like this, and her playing it as well, everything blends together so seamlessly to create this wonderful package. It's an incredible album. The album opens up with Nomad, and this is a song for me about sort of soul searching, but being aware of the soul searching and being aware of the longing. Clairo's gentle voice plays over this kind of cheery-ish tune, but it goes from like existential internal longing to moments of absolute clarity. And that dynamic, that dichotomy is fun to listen to because you kind of bounce between some heavy emotions. This is a really deep track. Like lyrically, there's some searching on this one. The debut single for this record comes up next, Sexy to Someone. This one, I love the little like flute blips that happen in the background on this one during the verses, the synth and flute swells that occur throughout this track. It reminds me of Actor era St. Vincent. The chorus is smooth as silk, and Homer on the drums creates this real steady, funky, groovy shuffle that lets everything else kind of play on top of it. It's definitely sort of a 70s soft rock feel, but it's perfectly executed to the point where it doesn't sound like a cheap imitation of something from that era. It's definitely got its own soul, its own body, its own construction. But it's literally a song about wanting someone to find you attractive. You know, there's a line that goes, "It's not too much to ask." You know, like this is kind of like at the bottom of the barrel here, being like, look, can anybody just think I'm cute? Like, it's one of those moments. And it works really well. Second Nature follows that up, and I feel like Second Nature and Slow Dance are kind of paired together. Second Nature opens up with laughing throughout the da-da-dum intro, which I think is really cool because on the next song, Slow Dance, it has sort of a similar intro, but there's no laughing this time. So on Second Nature, I feel like the energy of this song is like, you know, like we just get along so well. It's normal. It's cool. It's like second nature. We vibe so well. It's got this careless sort of happy-go-lucky attitude. Like, you know, it's kind of flirty. It thinks it likes this person. It thinks it likes this feeling, but it doesn't really put too much weight into it. Whereas when you get to Slow Dance, it's like the sadder version of this song where everything's kind of crushing at the same time, and like that self-realization where it's like, oh, maybe I do have actual feelings for this person, or maybe I do feel heavier thoughts than I thought I did. It's not as careless as I wanted it to be. Kind of something like that. Slow Dance in particular features some wonderful piano soloing, really warm bass, just an excellent track. Thank You follows it up and closes side one, and this song features a really good, grounded, rhythmic piano throughout this whole thing. Really nice, peppy, crisp drums on this one as well, with some really nice smooth bass, but a super catchy chorus. And lyrically, it almost feels like it's not necessarily like a bitter song, but I feel like it's slightly biting or maybe just accepting that like sometimes you're going to talk to somebody and realize that you don't actually want to be with them. So it's like, oh, thank you for your time. I've realized I don't need this, or this isn't good for me, and you kind of move forward from there. Side two of this record is just like put the foot on the gas and let's crank. I mean, this thing picks up. I mean, the side one is already a greatest hits album. Side two is like greatest hits, like that's already been like sent off platinum status. Terrapin starts this thing off, and I love the sophisticated cozy. I'm calling it sophisticated cozy on this one. The nice little rim shots are cool. The rubbery bass, the tinkling pianos. Clairo's voice is like a summer breeze on this one. It's just a nice, groovy little song. And then you get Juna, which comes up next, and this is just 70s rock jazz jammer all the way through. Chimey accents, warm chord changes, those super crisp, warm drums. This is just a head-bobbing, soulful groove, complete with really loving lyrics. It's ready for a comfy relationship. It's also loaded with wonderful jamming, and the horn outro is so fun. This is a song to definitely check out. Thankfully, it's a single. There's a video for this song. So if you hear one song from the album that's not one of the ones I'm going to talk about, check out Juna. Speaking of songs, I would highly recommend for you to check out Add Up My Love. Is probably my favorite song on the entire record. There is like an attitude in the chunky delivery of the rhythm of this song. It's just a delicious on the ears track, and Clairo's voice has this wisdom to it and this impassioned delivery of like remembering these deep memories that maybe she doesn't want to remember. The lead up to the chorus is so good because when you get to that chorus, that payoff is wonderful. It's one of the most memorable moments on the entire album. Add up my love. The flutes are there to accent sort of old times, these memories. The shaker percussion in the chorus for movement, like you're moving on. The horns, I mean, the whole thing is a soulful strut. You absolutely have to check out Add Up My Love. And then the last three songs seamlessly blend into each other, kind of like the end of Abbey Road or something, if you will. But Ekko comes up next. And this song is kind of like a spooky little eerie jammer that tells the story of a love going absolutely nowhere. It reminds me, like the textures on this song feel like late 60s Pink Floyd, slightly Syd Barrett or Os Mutantes. I'm getting kind of like a psychedelic feel on this one, which is really groovy, but it's fun to hear Clairo and her group experiment. This one kind of jams along for a while, and I like hearing where they go and just letting the song develop and breathe until it just jams right into Glory of the Snow. And this one for me, I love the reverb click that happens throughout this thing, which is really cool. The acoustic swipes are nice, but a song about purity and honesty, I feel like this song understands vulnerability and kind of accepts that as a beautiful thing to be a part of. And sometimes it hits us when we're least expecting it. Which leads up to the last song, Pier IV, which is one of the most gorgeous songs in the album. The acoustic guitar picking on this thing is just perfect. It's soulful, it's warmly delivered. And I've said warm a lot because this whole album feels warm. The layered vocal harmonies, the incredibly heartbreaking lyrics. This song falls back and forth between like wanting love or understanding love to questioning it and then everything in between. It's a stunning closing song. It's definitely got like a mission statement-esque delivery. There's something to be said about the lyrics on this song, almost kind of summing up the album as a whole mixed into one track to kind of like wrap it up, put a bow on it. So here's the back cover. Some nice little drawings with the tracks and a really nice gatefold of the group hanging out. The inner sleeve is great. It's got the information about the tracks themselves and who plays what and the lyrics. Can't go wrong there. Simple black vinyl, but different labels. It's a picture. Overall, Clairo has absolutely made the best album of her career. This thing is soulful, it's heartbreaking, it's self-aware, it's longing, and ultimately finding some sort of resolve. It doesn't feel like it's just ending with like only heartbreak. It feels like it's understanding where it's come from and has learned from that and wants to move forward, kind of like with this stuff like in a backpack and just understanding where to go. Like, what's the road that I take with all this information that I have? The playing on this thing is sophisticated and extremely tight. Like, it's just tight. Like Homer's one of my favorite drummers ever. If you listen to this album, listen to his drums, everything being able to play on top of those drums, if he wasn't there, this album wouldn't work. Like, his drumming is absolutely essential to this record. But Clairo's voice is undeniably cool. It's smooth, it lilts over the songs, it forms around the other instruments. Like, if you were like to melt butter over something and it just covers everything perfectly, that's what her voice is like, smooth as butter. They've really created something special with this album. And for me personally, this is going to be in my top 10 of the best albums of 2024. There's a beauty to it. There's an honesty to it. It's not trying to be something that it's not. It's just perfectly honest. When you make music from the heart, doesn't matter what it is, if you're honest about it, it comes out as believable. So with that being said, I'm stoked this album exists. It's an absolute pleasure to listen to. Every single song is great. There isn't one dud on this entire album. So for me personally, this is an 8 or a 9, hands down. It's one of the best albums of the year. If you're into soft rock, if you're into piano-based stuff, if you like what the Daptones did back in the day, you want to hear something new from them, and obviously if you're a fan of Clairo and just her work and her artwork, you're gonna dig this a lot. This is the best thing she's ever done, so absolutely give this a spin. Highly recommended. That's it. My name is Giggens. This has been Clairo, Charm, her brand new album. Give it a listen, pick it up, buy it, stream it, do whatever you gotta do to hear it. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.